Hi, everybody. Happy Friday. Welcome to another edition of Meetup with Mallory. This is our virtual coffee hour that we hold just about every single week that the Senate is in session. Today, I have one of my favorite coffee travel mugs that has all these little dogs on it. So if you've brought your own coffee, welcome. For anybody who is new, welcome. You may have received a flyer that looks like this. Mine has notes all over it because it's on my desk in your mailbox. We've been going around the community just to make sure that people know that we do this because it's a pretty casual, easy way to connect and get a quick update from us on what is happening in the state or the country, what is happening in the state legislature, and then opening it up for good news, which is great, where we just share and celebrate in some good news that's happening around our district. And then we open it up for live Q&A. So we live stream this across 3 different platforms. We are on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. So no matter what platform you are watching on, if you do have a question when we get to the Q&A portion, go ahead and type it in the comment section. It will filter all of that to us, and we will be able to see that on our end. If you do have a question or a comment, we ask that you type out your name in case that's not obvious from your username, what city you are representing in the district, and then fire away with your question. We will try to get to as many as we can. All right, so this is the second week of back to school. So we are changing the order up a little bit and starting with some more good news because it is really exciting to see kids going back to school. We know that Royal Oak went back to school this week, and there were some great photos in the comment section of people and their kids going back to school. And it's just so great, especially after the past 18 months, 2 years, however long it has been. It feels like all of the time and no time all at once. Time is a construct now, but seeing kids get back to school and just how excited families and kids and parents and administrators and everybody is just really exciting. So welcome back. Hope you have a great year, and we can't wait to see what you do this year. All right, jumping back into some news. So on the statewide level, many of you may know that Michigan in 2018 passed a citizen-led ballot initiative to create an independent redistricting commission. Now, what is that? Maybe you've gotten our mailers that explains gerrymandering and redistricting, but just to kind of put it into a really clear example, I am Mallory McMorrow. I'm the state senator for the 13th Senate District. We have 38 state Senate districts in the state. Each represents around 250, 260,000 people. Our district is actually 280,000 residents. It's one of the largest in the state, and we represent currently 8 cities in Oakland County. But every 10 years, we get new data that comes in from the census to let us know where everybody is or moved to, and district lines are redrawn. Traditionally, this is something that has been done by the legislature, which leads to gerrymandering. Gerrymandering is a process that kind of intentionally draws districts to favor one party or another. And that's where you got very strange looking districts that kind of loop up and around and look like dragons and weird shapes. And both parties have done this throughout history and across the country. And it leads to, a situation where the legislature doesn't accurately represent the people of the state. And I think you see a lot of that polarization take place because, sort of moderacy and working with everybody is not necessarily rewarded if you do have sort of extreme safe Republican districts, extreme safe Democratic districts. And then there's ours, which is actually one of the most evenly balanced districts in the state currently. But districts are being redrawn, and that is done by citizens for the very first time in Michigan's history. So we just wanted to share an update that process is happening right now. So some people have reached out and asked if I am still going to be your senator after 2022, which first of all implies that I get reelected. So thank you. That's a huge vote of confidence for me. But also, I don't know. And this is in the hands of citizens and not something that myself as a legislator will have a hand in. And I firmly believe that is the way that it should be. But we do encourage you to get involved and to pay attention to the process. You can actually watch them drawing maps live. It's a pretty cool example of radical transparency. I don't think I've seen any other state do it quite like this, where you can actually log in on YouTube. They host all of their sessions, both in person and virtually, and you can watch the process happen. So we will share links in the comments and follow up if you want to follow that process. But something that's relevant for our district is on September 30th. There is a public meeting where the commission and all of the commissioners will be conducting their meeting at Oakland University in our district. And the September 30th meeting is where the commission is slated tentatively to actually vote on the draft districts. So right now they're working on drawing the districts. September 30th, they will vote internally to approve the districts that they've drafted. And then all of those maps go up for a period of 45 days for public comment. And then they will be finalized. So this is your chance to get involved, to let the commissioners know what you're looking for in a district, what communities make sense to be together if they have things in common and common issues, and go from there. So September 30th, please follow along. It's a really, really fascinating process, and we want to make sure that everybody knows about it because this is your commission and your chance to have a direct hand in what your state legislature and your Congress looks like moving forward. Next up on national news, we had the President of the United States, President Biden, announced that there is a new federal vaccine requirement for private sector and public employees and healthcare workers and federal contractors in an effort to curb the spread of COVID-19. So, we all, if you're anything like me, pretty vividly remember watching news stories when the first vaccine left Pfizer out in Kalamazoo. And it was, especially after how hard the previous year had been, it felt like a little bit of a relief and also a really proud moment that the vaccine was coming out of Michigan and that was flying all over the country and the world. But obviously, we've seen vaccine rates kind of trickle off. We've seen a concerning rise in cases. And for me, one of the biggest concerns that I see is the rise in cases and now fatalities among children, among kids who can't get vaccinated, among pregnant mothers who are dying. There was a report that I read this morning that I think MLive published, but over a dozen pregnant mothers in Mississippi have passed away from COVID-19. And we are starting to see younger people get sicker and get infected. And what we're seeing in the hospitalization rate numbers is that an overwhelming majority of those hospitalized and those continuing to pass away from COVID-19 are unvaccinated. So, I think myself and a lot of other people were really hopeful that people would see that this is the way out of it. I know that anytime there's something new, people are nervous about it and want to find out more information. I have been following this really closely, and many of you may know I gave birth at the end of January and was actually eligible for the vaccine right around that same time. And, it was nerve-wracking for me about what does that mean for my pregnancy and my daughter. I was a new breastfeeding mom, but I spent a lot of time talking to experts and researchers and weighing the risks, right? I think we accept that there is nothing in life that is without any risk, but what we know now overwhelmingly is the risks associated with the vaccine are significantly smaller than the risks associated with being unvaccinated and contracting this virus. You just don't know how your body's going to handle it. We are now seeing more people without comorbidities who are healthy, who are younger, who are kids, who are getting sick and dying. So this is the announcement, I think, on the wake of us seeing those numbers, and especially with kids going back to school and people getting back to in-person activities and work, that is out from the federal government. And one thing that I want to make very clear is what was issued from the administration yesterday says you either have to have proof of vaccination or participate in weekly COVID-19 testing. So it is really, it's still, you make the choice that is best for you, but it's understanding that we're still in a pandemic. This is still an incredibly dangerous virus. I got vaccinated. Everybody in my family has gotten vaccinated, and they are incredibly effective. But if that's a choice that for medical reasons or for religious reasons, you're not able to make. I do think that there is personal responsibility involved in saying, okay, well, I am going to go ahead and get tested weekly so that I know, so that as a part of my community or my business, or heading back into school or being around people who can't be vaccinated, I know whether or not I'm sick. And then, if you're sick, stay home. And that's how we're going to get through this and get back to our normal lives and stay there. So just wanted to update everybody on that news. I'm sure we're going to be getting questions about it, but wanted to put that out there. Really quickly, the update from the Capitol. So we're pivoting. You may see, because we're not in Lansing, I have this very small model of the Capitol. If anybody of you have watched Zoolander, it is the Capitol for ants. So we were in session this week in the Senate, but we did not vote on any bills. It was a very, very light day on Thursday. There were a couple of bill introductions. We had some bills that were read on general orders, which is procedurally the first time bills are read in session, but we did not vote on any of them. But the State House had their annual September 11th and first responder recognition ceremony. So that is what happened in Lansing this week. Pretty light news week. So we will now jump into the best segment of the week, which is good news. And you got a sneak peek of some of it with kids back to school, but running through a few other really fantastic things that are happening in our district. Rochester Police have launched the Fridge, which is a free fridge food donation program. I love this. I actually heard a podcast about similar projects like this around the country and had always wanted to see one in our district. So this is just like you may have seen some people in communities using free little libraries as food pantries, placing, small food items or essential things like feminine hygiene products or socks available for anybody who may need them to take them without judgment. So this goes a step further and is an entire food pantry and a fridge. So it's going to have vegetables, milk for people who can take what they need, again, without any judgment. And we know, especially after the past year and what everybody's gone through, it's okay if you're in need. And this is a great way to, I think, get over some of the stigma that is around going out and reaching out to organizations who may be offering assistance, but this is available for you. And it is a community effort. So if you have food or items to share, it's a community effort to restock the pantry and the fridge. So huge shout out and thanks to the Rochester Police Department for facilitating this and helping the community. Really love it. Next up, many of you may know or may not know that the Detroit Zoo director, Ron Kagan, retired recently. And I'm very, very happy to report that the Detroit Zoo has appointed its first female director in history. And on Tuesday named Haley Murphy as the director and chief executive officer. Murphy is a veterinarian and is the first woman in the zoo's 93-year history to hold this position. She comes to Royal Oak from the Atlanta Zoo in Georgia, where she was the deputy director. So congratulations. Welcome to Michigan. Welcome to our community. And we are thrilled to have you at our zoo. Finally, this week, if you are looking for something to do in a way that is safe and outdoors and taking advantage of what I think is the best weeks of weather that we have in Michigan, it's these first few weeks of fall that I just absolutely love. Arts and Apples Festival is back. And it's going to be a big one. So we put this up here. You can see the huge list of sponsors, activities, creation stations, food vendors. It's going to be a lot of fun. Make sure if you go, you get in early to find a parking space. Was reading a little bit about, I think, especially after last year when so many things were canceled, a lot of these events are expecting huge crowds. So if you're planning to go, plan to get out there, be safe, support the community, and have a lot of fun. All right. With that, we are bringing on live from our office in Lansing this week. So we are bringing together the remote office and the actual Lansing office, which we haven't spent much time in over the past year. Liz, our Director of Constituent Services and Outreach, to facilitate questions. So just as a reminder, if you do have a question or a comment, feel free to go ahead and type that in the comment section of whatever platform you're on, and make sure to include your name, if that's not obvious by your username, what city you represent in the district, and then go ahead and fire away with your question. So Liz, what do we got this week?
Sadly, no questions right now. Maybe people are, getting ready to enjoy the Arts and Apples Festival. Here's my submission,
The last minute submission for Arts and Apples. I didn't make anything.
No, it's okay. I found some colored markers here. I had to print some things out and use our printer. So
nice. I'm gonna present this abstract piece of art, which I call definitely not a baby's rubber teether, and
it's abstract for interpretation. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, we will let everybody get on with your weekend then. No need to have this run longer than it needs to be. As always, if you do have any other questions or comments, you can always email us. I will, hold on, bear with me, throw up our email address so you can see that. Go ahead and email us at senmcmorrow@senate.michigan.gov. You can find more information about our office at senatormcmorrow.com. And if you want to hang out on Twitter, you can. And that is me at Mallory McMorrow. So with that, I hope everybody has a great and safe and cool weekend. Enjoy whatever you're getting up to, and we will see you next time.